Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida was hosted by US President Joe Biden at the White House for a state dinner on Wednesday. During a toast at the dinner, the two leaders reiterated the deepening US-Japan relations. President Biden called the alliance, and I'm quoting here, stronger than ever. Speaking of the Pacific Ocean, the two leaders said that both United States and Japan have the same vision for the future. Among those attending Wednesday's dinner were US Vice President Kamala Harris, American businessman Jeff Bezos, former US President Bill Clinton, and actor Robert De Niro. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida presented new cherry trees to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. Kishida donated the trees to replace older trees at the tidal basin that will be removed for repairs at the site. The Japanese leader has donated 250 such trees to Washington to mark United States' 250 years in 2026. In totality, Japan has donated at least 3,000 trees to the US as a mark of friendship between the two. The two leaders met in Washington to address shared concerns over China's military actions in the Pacific Ocean. The two leaders are also expected to solve the differences between the two over US steel deal. Former US President Donald Trump touched down in Atlanta on Wednesday. His trip comes as part of his campaign financing efforts. During his trip, the Republican frontrunner said that he does not need as much cash as Democrats to win the polls, in fact. As per Trump, the average earning through donations has come up to $52 million, while as per the Biden administration, the Democrats raised $90 million, a record high amount. This visit marks Trump's second time in Georgia. Earlier, both Trump and President Biden held rallies in the state prior to securing their part nominations. At least 5 people have been arrested in connection with Wednesday's shooting in Philadelphia. As per the police, 3 people were shot and injured after rival groups engaged in cross-firing. The shooting took place at a Muslim gathering amid Eid al-Fitr celebrations. Of the 5 arrested, 4 were carrying weapons, while one 15-year-old was shot in the shoulder and leg by the police. The suspects include 4 men and a woman. At least 30 gunshots rang at the Muslim gathering of over 1,000 people at the Clara Muhammad Square. A thorough investigation to establish the motive of the shooting is underway. At least 1 person has been killed and 5 others have been injured in a shooting incident in Washington, D.C. The injured in Wednesday's incident include a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old minor who have sustained non-life-threatening injuries. The police have said that 2 suspects are at large. They have issued a public alert over the car to be believed to be used in helping the suspects escape. While a full investigation is underway, as per witness account, the 2 suspects came out of the car and started firing aimlessly. The incident comes when state data showed that homicides and other types of violent crimes went down by 22% in 2024 as opposed to the same time in 2023. A tornado blew through Texas on Wednesday morning, leaving at least 10,000 households without power. Along with the powerful tornado, a tornado also briefly touched down in the area. The weather office confirmed that the tornado was an EF1 and was traveling at a wind speed of 144 km per hour. A tire shop in Texas's Houston was completely destroyed, the touchdown. While the tire shop was ripped apart, the shopping center was also also sustained damage. A portion of the restaurant's roof was also missing after the high-speed winds passed through Texas. Germany's Lufthansa Airlines have suspended operations to and from Tehran amid the growing West Asia tensions. The flights will stay diverted till the 11th of April. Countries in the region and also the United States have been put on high alert over possible attacks by Iran. The attack threat looms after Israel's suspected bombardment of the Iranian mission in Damascus. Following the attack, Iran's supreme leader warned Israel of a possible retaliation. In response, Jerusalem has said that they will strike back at Iran if they choose to attack. The Lufthansa spokesperson has expressed concern over the security of the staff and the guests, calling the company's top priority. The Canadian government has warned that the country is at risk of another catastrophic wildfire season. The warning comes following higher than normal spring and summer temperatures across much of the country. Just last year, Canada endured its worst ever fire season with more than 6,600 blazes burning 15 million hectares. 8 firefighters were killed, while over 230,000 people were forced out of their homes. In 2023, the country was faced with winters warmer than expected, raising concerns about a punishing summer. The country has slated $187 million to fund combat equipment against wildfires. Ottawa has also committed to training at least 1,000 community-based firefighters. Three sons and 4 grandchildren of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh were killed in an Israeli airstrike in the Gaza Strip on Wednesday. The 4 grandchildren included 3 girls and a boy. The Israeli forces confirmed the attacks, citing the 3 killed as operatives of the Hamas armed wing. The Hamas militant group said that the 3 sons were killed after their car was bombed in Gaza's Al-Shati camp. However, the IDF has not released any comment on the 4 grandchildren being involved with Hamas. The attack surfaces a day after Hamas claimed that ceasefire conditions slated by Israel did not meet any conditions of the Palestinian side. Former Taiwan President Ma Ying-jeou has said that the country can resolve all its differences with China. The statement comes following the Taiwanese leader's Thursday meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Ying-jeou. In fact, Ying-jeou added that people of both sides share the same culture and history. He is also the first Taiwanese leader to visit Beijing. The first time Ying-jeou met with Xi Jinping was during a summit in Singapore in 2015. when Zhu was the sitting leader of Taiwan. That marked the first meeting between the leaders of the two sides since the end of the Civil War in 1949. Ecuador's former Vice President Jorge Glass is on a hunger strike at a prison to protest his arrest. The strike was reported by his lawyer, Sonia Vera, who broke the news on her social media account. Glass has been convicted twice before over corruption charges. The recent arrest was made during a police raid on Mexico's Quito embassy, where the former leader had been living since December of 2023. The arrest was followed by Ecuador asking for Mexican ambassador to return to Mexico. The return was demanded over quote-unquote leftist comments by Mexican President Obrador. The Ecuadorian government has said that they had proof that Glass was planning an escape. However, Quito has not provided any evidence to ascertain the claims that led to the former leader's arrest. Colombian President Gustavo Petro has vowed to offer mediation for political peace in Venezuela. Petro offered support during his meeting with his Venezuelan counterpart in Caracas. The leader and Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro held a closed-door meeting over agendas including diplomatic cooperation, border security, trade, economy and energy. This was the first political meeting between the two countries after Colombia criticized the banning of opposition figures in Venezuela's elections. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Machado won the opposition primaries in October of 2023. However, she has been barred from running for polls, a decision that Machado calls unfair. China's consumer prices rose for the second consecutive month in March, while producer price deflation persisted, indicating a lingering weak demand. Despite signs of economic recovery, a prolonged property crisis continues to dampen consumer and business confidence. The Consumer Price Index, or the CPI, grew by 0.1% year-on-year, falling short of economists' expectations, while the Producer Price Index, or the PPI, dropped by 2.8%. Despite government efforts to stimulate spending, consumers remain cautious amid economic uncertainties and a sluggish job market. China's central bank has pledged to bolster domestic demand to enhance confidence and spur growth. Japanese Finance Minister Shunichi Suzuki expressed concern over the recent surge in the dollar against the yen, emphasizing the need for stability in currency movements. The yen weakened past 153 per dollar, its lowest since 1990, following strong US inflation data. Suzuki and top currency diplomat Masato Kanda stated that while they wouldn't rule out any steps, they didn't specify intervention plans. Market participants are on high alert for signs of yen intervention from Japanese authorities, who last intervened in 2022 to support the yen. Analysts note a lack of determination from Japanese authorities this time, possibly due to the strength of the US economy and the wide interest rate differentials. Foxconn is considering a significant management overhaul by introducing a rotating chief executive system. This move, rare in corporate settings, aims to foster teamwork, prevent leadership entrenchment, and develop future talent. Currently, Young Liu holds both chairman and CEO roles. The proposed plan includes having 4 CEOs rotate every 6 months. While details are not finalized, candidates' responsibilities and coordination with Liu are under deliberation. This change may end Foxconn's one-man rule system, initiated by founder Terry Gu's retirement in 2019. The decision follows investor calls for improved governance by separating CEO and chairman roles. Russia has rejected an appeal made by Google against a $50 million fine. The fine was imposed on Google in December of 2023 for its refusal to delete YouTube content related to the Ukraine-Russia war. According to the Moscow City Court, Google refused to remove content that allegedly spread false information about Russia's special military operation in Ukraine. Not just that, Google also refused the removal of extremist and LGBTQ+ content from its video sharing platform. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022, the country has been in constant disagreement with foreign tech companies about content, censorship, data, and local representation. ByteDance, the parent company of the popular social media app TikTok, is all set to take on Instagram by launching a photo sharing app. Some TikTok users have been getting pop-up notifications on the app. According to reports, the app will be called TikTok Notes. Reports further suggest that once launched, the company will automatically push new TikTok photo posts to the Notes app. Chinese video game giant NetEase has announced that popular games like World of Warcraft and Diablo are set to return to China. Last year, NetEase and game developer Activision Blizzard ended the 14-year partnership over intellectual property control disagreements. The fallout between the two companies sparked an outcry among Chinese gamers who complained that they would lose access to their favorite games.